Today we will be creating the game Galactic. It's another space game, kind of like the game we just made in lessons 5, 6, and 7. It's a little different though, different spaceships. We'll be using the sprites from the Game Maker's Apprentice. You can download the sprites here at this website from A-Press. You can also get Game Maker 8.1 to download from this website and use it to create the game like we're going to be doing today. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing in Galactic Mail is we're going to be adding sprites and sounds to the board. And here we're going to use the sprite moon or the moon gift, and then create the sprite moon with it. So let's create a sprite and load a sprite. Look in, we want Game Maker. We want to go to our folders for let's see. For the Game Maker Apprentice resources, Chapter 3, and we want to start with our moon GIF. We want to remove the background, and also we're going to smooth the edges. And hit open. Make sure we center our sprite, and then hit OK. Oh wait, we need to. So we have our sprite moon. Hit OK. And then we're going to create a sprite for the asteroid. Alright, we have removed the background and smooth edges. You can see there's a background there. We want to take that out and hit open. Change this to SPR _ asteroid. We want to center it. Okay. We want to do our sprite explosion. Name it SPR _ explosion. Center it. Okay. We want our sprites for our flying and landed spaceships. So sprite, load sprite, landed, open, center, call this landed, oops, underscore, center. Okay. Load sprite. Flying. Open. Flying. Center it. And just so we know, you can see with this show preview, we have a speed of 30. There's actually 72 images that go 360 degrees around a circle. All right, there's 72 images of this spaceship, just so we know. This is all set. Wait, okay. Next thing we're going to do is create the sounds. We have an explosion sound, and then a bonus sound, and a music background sound. So we're going to load our sound. We're going to go back. Nope, not that one. There we go. We have our explosion. Open. Normal. Preload. SMD underscore explosion. Hit OK. We're going to load our bonus. This is normal. Bonus. And music. Background. So we have those sounds brought in. Now we're going to create a moon object. Oops. We're going to create an object moon. We're going to put some actions in there. Object, sprite moon, object underscore moon. We're going to add the create event. And then do the move free. The direction we're going to do in is going to be random, 360 degrees. And the speed is going to be 4. We want to add other outside the room. So when the moon goes outside the room, we're gonna want it to wrap around the screen in any direction, vertical or horizontal. And that's so we create a moon that randomly goes in any direction, and when it goes to the screen, it wraps around. Next, we're going to create a asteroid object. And we want to put a depth of 10. So the depth is kind of like layers. The starting layer is 0, and as the numbers go higher, you go deeper and deeper into the layers. So the asteroids will be, they'll be underneath the moons if they go past each other on the screen. And we want to do same things. We want to create event. We want it to be random 360 degrees with a speed of 4. Hit OK. And then we want to, when it's outside the room, we want it to wrap around in both directions, horizontal and vertical. And that's all we want with that. So we have our moon object. We have random 360 degrees with a speed of 4. We have wraparound in both directions, and then we have our asteroid object with a depth of 10, and it is depth of 10. It is move freely, random 360 degrees, speed of 4, and wrap screen when it's outside the room in both directions. Now we're going to create a room. Well, let's get the background first. So we're going to create a background, and we're going to load the background. Once again, from shift to 3, our background here, open. We'll call this background underscore main. Alright, so now we're going to create a room. We can do with the backgrounds. We can select our main background in here. Under the settings, we're going to call this room underscore first. And caption, we'll call it Galactic Galactic Mail. We'll leave the room size 640 by 480 for now, and we'll leave the speed at 30. So we have our objects. So we have asteroids, and we can just put a couple asteroids anywhere we want. And then we have moon, and we can put those anywhere we want also. So let's go ahead and close this, hit File, Save As, last name, first initial, underscore, Galactic Mail. Put it in our folder. Save. Now let's push play and take a look at it. This doesn't seem very right. Oh. Okay. For some reason there was a room 0 there. Oh, we pushed room twice. That was an accident. Alright, so we only want the one room. First room. Alright, File, Save. And then once again, push play. So here we have moons and asteroids going around the screen in random directions. And you'll notice that the asteroids pass behind the moons. You'll see moons pass behind moons at different levels. But we wanted to make sure that the asteroids had a depth that they were always passing behind the moons and never in front of the moons. So that's what we have there. And we will now go on to the next part. Okay, so we tested the game and we saw all these moons and asteroids running around. So now we want to be able to get our rocket ship to fly around and land and do different things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to right click on our moon object and duplicate it, and then give it a name of object underscore special moon. Now we're going to use these objects to write code. So whatever we give our special moon name or our landed ship name, we're going to have to remember to spell it exactly the same when we use the code later on. We're going to give this a depth of -5, which places it even higher on the layers than the regular moons that were at 0. And we're going to play the background music in the code that's there. So let's go ahead and open this up, and we have our object moon, and we're going to right click and then duplicate it. So now we have object 2, and all our codes that we did are already in here. We're going to call this object underscore special moon. And we're using the moon sprite and the rest of it. For our depth, we're going to use -5 for this. And we're going to add another other event, the game start. So at the start of the game, we're going to play a sound. And that sound, it's going to be our sound background, and the loop is going to be true. It's going to continue to loop over and over again, and we're going to hit OK. So that takes us through all of these, playing the sound. Hit OK. And then we're going to create an object landed. Give it a depth of -10, so it's at a layer higher than our special moon. And we're going to give it a step event, an end step event. So let's go OK here. All right, so we're going to create an object. We're going to use a sprite. We're going to use our sprite landed. We're going to call this object underscore landed. And we're going to have a step, an end step event. We're going to give it a depth of -10. We're going to include the jump to position, and we're going to have it self, the ended. And this is where we need to, so we have obj underscore special moon. So we're going to use this. So we go obj underscore special moon, and then we put dot x for the x position, and then we have obj underscore special moon dot y for the y position. So we use the exact same naming that we used for our object for our special moon, and then we hit OK. So now we're going to include a change sprite, and we want our sprite landed, and we want our direction. So there's 72 different images over a 360-degree circle. So 360 degrees divided by 72 is 5. So we want to have a direction that it's going in divided by 5, and we want the speed to be 0. So it stops the image from rotating. We hit OK. So here's our, we used obj underscore special moon.x. If you named it object underscore special moon, then you use exactly as you named it yourself. Alright, so we have our sprite landed, direction divided by 5. And now we're going to add some keyboard events to the landed rocket object. So add event, keyboard event, keyboard left, and we put our move free, and we put the direction. We're going to type in direction plus 10, and we're going to leave the speed at 0, and we want this for the south. Hit OK. And then we're going to add a keyboard to the right, and we want this to be direction minus 10, speed of 0. We want it to be, and then we hit OK. And now we're going to create an object for our flying. So we'll call it obj underscore flying, and we'll set the depth to -10, just like we had for our landed rocket. We're going to add an event and other outside the room, and we're going to have it wrap around in both directions, horizontal and vertical. We're going to add a step, an end step. We're going to include a change sprite, we're going to change it to the flying sprite. We're going to do this sum image. It's going to be direction divided by 5 again, and we're going to change the speed to 0 again, and we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to add a keyboard to the left, with our move free being the direction +2 and a speed of 6. And then we're going to add a keyboard right with our move fixed with a direction -2 and a speed of 6. We're going to add a collision event with an asteroid, and what's going to happen there is we're going to have to end the game or restart the game. So if the flying spaceship lands with the asteroid, we restart the game. We're going to add a collision with a moon object. And we're going to do a change instance so that the other, right, the moon, not the object flying, but the moon, will change into our object special moon, and hit OK with that. We're going to add a change instant so that the self turns into an object landed. Alright, so we've gotten all of this wrap around on the outside of the room. Collisions. Alright, so here's our collisions. Restart the game and change instances. And now we want to do the spacebar to move free and change instance into the flying, and then destroy the moon object. So we save this, we go to our landed object, and we add an event, keyboard spacebar. We do the move free, and we type direction with a speed of 6, and we hit OK. we hit a change instant for the self into our flying object. And we want a destroy instance of another object, and it's our object special moon. Okay, so let's hit file, save, and let's hit play. Okay. Oh, something we're supposed to do. Alright, so we have our object special moon, but we didn't put it in here. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Oops. Alright, so we'll just have 2 asteroids to begin with and 4 moons. All we want to do is we want to find our object special moon, and we want to just put 1 down, just 1. So when we start the game, music will start because this is here, and our spaceship will be here. We can put our spaceship anywhere, our landed spaceship. And we hit OK. We hit file, save, and now let's run it. Okay, so here's our music, and you can see I had put the spaceship over here, but when it started, it ended up right on our special moon, and we can move it to the right, we can move it to the left, and then to launch it, we hit it, it just launches in any direction it was facing, and then we get applied with any other moon. There you go. If we run into an asteroid, oh, it ended, and it starts over. Oh no. The music starts over. So, that's our game. So far. Right, so everything works here. Okay, so we've gotten that part done. So now we're going to add an explosion and a high score sheet and some sounds that go with that. So we want to create a new object using the explosion sprite. We'll call it explosion. And we want the depth to be -10. And we want to have a create event. We want this to be a play sound. And the sound that we want to play is going to be the sound of an explosion. And we don't want it to loop, we just want it to go once. And then we want to do an other at the animation's end. So the explosion has a cycle, and when it gets to the end of the cycle, we want there to be a high score. Score section. We want to show high score. The background we're going to use is going to be the background that we already have. We're going to show the border. You could pick any colors you want, and you can also pick a variety of fonts. We can pick a variety of fonts that we'd like, such as Arial. And we can make it bold. Just regular bold. And we can have any size we want. So that looks good. Then we can hit OK. And then we're going to have a restart game. We hit OK for that. And now we're going to reopen our flying rocket, and we're going to select the collision with the asteroid, and we're going to get rid of this restart game, and we're going to use a create instance, and we want to create the explosive object and have it relative to where the flying object was. And then we are also going to have a destroy instance of the self. We hit OK. We hit File Save. And we can test this out. Spacebar, around, fly, asteroid. Here's the explosion. Nobody has any scores yet. When I close this, we restart the game. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put some scores in. So we're going to reopen the properties form for the special moon object and select game start event. Include a set score action with a new score of 1,000. This gives us points with the start of the game. Reopen the properties form for the landed rocket. Select the end step. New score is -1 relative to the option. So we have the special moon object, and we have a game start, and we're going to hit the score. We're going to have the set score to 1,000 and hit OK. So now we're going to hit OK. We're going to go to the landed rocket. And select the end step, which we have here. Include a set score action. with a new score of -1 and relative. Click relative. So it's going to take 1 point off for every step, and there's 30 steps in a second, so you can lose 30 points in 1 second for every second you're on the landed moon. Hit OK. Open the flying moon object, and we have a collision with a moon. Include a set score. Of 500 and make that relative. So every time you collide with the moon, you get 500 points. And then include a play sound for the bonus sound and hit OK. And then we hit OK. And then we hit File Save. And now let's hit play. Alright, so I'm losing points. Whoa! You get points swaps. So and then if I close this, I get to play again. I get off this moon or I lose all my points. So that's how that game goes. So now we want to add some levels. The first thing we're going to do is add 2 more rooms. We have a room first and a room second. We're going to make the rooms slightly different so we can duplicate this from our pop-up menu, save some time. So we have a room first, and then we're going to duplicate that, and then we're going to duplicate that. So here we're going to change this to room second, and here third, okay, settings, room second. Alright, so what we want to do here is we want to make this a little more difficult. So we're going to add 3 more asteroid objects into it. Hit OK. And then the third room, I'm going to make that even more difficult. So we want to zoom this up a little bit. Add even more asteroids. Hit OK. So that each level gets more and more difficult. So we have our 3 rooms now, and we want to reopen the flying flying rocket and test to see how many moons are left so we can get to the next level. So we have our object flying, and we have a collision with the moon object. And what we want to do is we want to, in our control, we want to test an instance count. The objects we want to count are the object's moon, and we want when it gets to 0 and equal to, so we hit OK. We have here. And then we're going to do this block code here. You can see it completed. Here's the start block, sleep for 1,000 milliseconds, set score relative to 1,000, and then go to the next room, and then the end block. So we're going to hit our start block. We want to hit our sleep action, 1,000 milliseconds. Then we will set score to 1,000 bonus points relative to our score. Then we're going to do our next room. Transition effect. We can pick anything we want here. It's to rotate. Okay. And then we hit our end block. We save that. Something we want to do here though is that file save, and then play. Alright. So that brings us to the next level. Oh, right now. That's how we get from one level to the next. Okay, so now we have our finishing touches. We're going to add a title screen, a help screen, and a congratulation message for completing the game. And you can include some visual touches, add a little bit of variety of the moons and the asteroids. So to create the title screen, we're going to open the sprite title, and then we're going to create an object with a depth of 1 to it. So we start with our sprite, load sprite. Here's our title sprite. Hit open. We center it. Call it SPR underscore title. Hit OK. And then we're going to create an object. We'll call it object underscore title. We're going to have a create event. And our create event will be the same that we had for our special moon. For the game start. We can go ahead and delete that. And then we add an event. Press, key press, any key. And we'll have go to the next room. And we can pick any transition we want. Let's create from center. Hit OK. Next, we're going to create a room. Settings, we're going to call it room underscore title. We'll call it Galactic Mail. We'll do the background. Let's make this larger. So our background image is the main. We'll have some objects. First object will be Galactic Mail. And then we'll have some asteroids and some moons. We'll drag this all the way to the front, so it's the first one. We'll hit File, Save, and let's test it. So we'll read the music. We got a score of 1,000. We press any key and we start the game. Oh. There you go. And there's our title screen. Notice we have the moons go above it and the asteroids go below it. Okay, so now we want to finish. We want to win the game and we want to finish it, and we're gonna create an object and create a room so we can have all this stuff in it to restart the game and show the high score like we did before. So first thing we want to do is we want to create an object. We'll call the object underscore finish. We're not going to have any sprites for this, so we don't need to have anything in there. We're going to add an event, and we're going to create a display message. Where it is, display message, and we want that message to be congratulations, exclamation mark. You've delivered all the mail. Period. Hit OK. We're going to include a set score of 2,000 relative to what you had. We're going to show the high score with our wonderful background. You can pick your colors and your fonts. I don't really care. And then we're going to hit a restart game. Restart game. Hit OK. Now we're going to create a room. And it's going to be our last room, and we can put our background that we like, or you can pick any color you want. And the only thing we're going to put in here, we could put some, the only thing we're going to put in here is our object finish, and you can put it anywhere. We'll put it right in the middle, and it's just this little blue dot. It's not going to show up when we have it. But what we have here is a room finish, Galactic mail, and so we have a title room, and then we go to the first room, and when we get rid of all the moons, We go to the second room, we get all the moons. We go to the third room, and we get rid of all the moons. We had nowhere to go. So now we're going to a finish room with our finish object, and it's going to show us our high score and have that, all of that information right there, and it's right in the right place. So we hit OK. We hit File, Save, and I would say you can go ahead and test it, but you can go ahead and test it and make sure that it works correctly. And then the last thing that you will need to do is we'll have to add some visualizations here. All the moons look the same. The asteroids rotate in unison. So you can open the properties, an edit button, make object sprites. You could have the sprites, load sprite, select basis GIF. You can back in the moon properties, create an event, change the sprites, subimage, speed, close the action, include identical, open properties, asteroid, change sprite. So you can go ahead, so you can make it more visual information, and you can add some game information to it. You can go ahead and do that, and then you are all done with this game.